Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to cover Game 8 of Smithy's opening fundamentals. We have Old Rich Duras versus Simek. This game took place in Pisek in 1912. So let's go ahead and go over the game. Again, we have D4, and here Smithy Q comments about Ulrich Duras, right? Ulrich Duras was one of the strongest tournament players of his era. This game was part of a 31 board simultaneous exhibition. In other words, he's playing 31 games at the same time. This explains why he doesn't play the best moves at the critical moment. But he still blows his amateur opponent off the board in under 20 moves. Okay, so his opponent plays d5, then e4. White offers a pawn on move 2. Most masters consider this dubious, but Duras makes it look unbeatable here. So black accepts the pawn, d captures e4, knight c3, knight f6, f3, e captures f3, knight captures f3. For the pawn, white has two open files. Okay, so the e file and the f file. Because of the open f file, black needs to watch out for tricks on f7 in particular. Right, so this square is weak, and again, the queen can go target this square via h5. The bishop can go to c4 and also target this square. And then the knight can also jump in to e5 or g5 and target this square from here. So now e6, bishop d3, and bishop b4. Not bad, but the bishop probably wants to be on e7. It can be a target here. And then white castles, right? So again, and then we have bishop captures c3 unprovoked. So let's go ahead and kind of rewind a little bit, and let's look at this from the perspective of time. So both players make pawn moves, develop, pawn move, develop, pawn move. So now here, white is up 3 against black's 1, tempi, right? Regarding tempi and development. So black is not considered behind in development. He catches up, okay, he's close, right? Again, white develops, castles and develops. And then now here, black should probably just castle and continue following white's lead, right? Bishop captures c3. Again, moving the same piece twice, unprovoked. Again, black, an amateur facing the mighty Duras, likely thought that exchanging pieces would help him survive longer. He was wrong. And again, just all black has to do is castle, and then the game continues, right? Instead, he trades bishops here. So now b captures c3, and then white castles, right? So again, this is a position of the thumbnail, the concept of initiative, right? So I'm going to go ahead and read off the concept of initiative, if you don't know what that is, right? So the initiative is the ability to dictate the flow of the game by making threats that force your opponent to react defensively, limiting their options and preventing them from executing their own plans. It's about taking control of the game and creating pressure, often through active piece play, as again we'll see right now, as white does, and a coordinated effort to attack. The player with the initiative is in the driver's seat and dictating the pace and direction of the game. So again, pretty much this game, black's only mistake was taking this bishop on c3 and giving white the initiative. Now bishop a3, thanks to the exchange, white can bring his bishop to his diagonal with tempo. So black is forced to place rook e8, otherwise he loses the exchange. Again, remember the rook is worth 5 points, the bishop is worth 3 points. So rook e8 and then knight e5. It's only move 10, but white is nearly fully developed and black has enormous pressure on f7 and the king side in general. Black has only 2 pieces developed and his e8 rook would probably rather be on f8 anyway. The gambit has worked beautifully so far. So the bishop controls his diagonal. Now the knight is attacking f7. This bishop on d3 has this diagonal attacking h7. The rook is attacking f6 and also x-rays the f7 square. the queen can come in to h5 or g4 for a coordinate to help with an attack, right? And now here, because there's double pressure from the knight and the rook on f7, black should add another defender. Right now, the only defender of f7 is the king. So black should probably would want to keep the rook on f7 to help defend the square, but he can't. So then now knight c6, black tries to develop. And again, before here, remember black has 2, 3, right? And then white is 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, yeah, counting the rook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is our turn to move, right? So 5. So 2 to 5, right? So that can be considered a pawn advantage, right? And the thing is with the initiative is you have to keep it going, otherwise black will catch up in development, and you won't have the initiative no more, right? So you can use the initiative, think about a sacrifice, creating more threats to get a better position, and to start an attack. So that's what white does, right? White plays knight captures on f7. White crashes in on the thematic f7 square. Now, what happens if king captures f7? Then we have queen h5 check, right? The knight cannot capture, taking it because it is pinned. Now here if g6, queen h7, right, is checkmate. And again, if you are black, if you get a sacrifice pulled on this on you, then you have to calculate what's going to happen after you take all the possibilities, right? So we already calculated if king captures, we have queen h5. If we play g6 in this position, queen h7 checkmate, so we cannot do that. So black shouldn't do that. Right, so now what if, in this position, what if black goes back to king g8? Right, now the queen captures, well, first rook captures f6, removing the defender of h7. Now here in this position, if g captures f6, then we have queen captures h7, checkmate. Right, so we cannot play g6 in this position. So what if in this position, black plays queen captures f6, right? Then, well, that leaves the rook on e8 undefended. So now queen captures e8, then queen f8, and queen captures f8, checkmate, right? The thing is, it's really easy to see here on the board visually, but in your mind when you're playing it, and you have this sacrifice here, we have to also calculate from this point of view if you're attacking, and also if you have to defend against a sacrifice like this, if you should take the knight. And what usually happens, and when you see the moves in advance, you might forget a detail here, right? You might, for an example, you might say, well, I can capture, and now queen h5. Okay, now I see that g6 doesn't work because now black plays rook captures f6 with the sacrifice, and then now I take, and then the queen captures on h7. So we rule that out. Okay, the next one, if I take on f7, now queen h5 check, king back to g8, rook captures f6, queen d6, and now I'm fine, right? And then that's it. That's what you think. I'm fine with this. So you go ahead and play this variation. And then when it happens, you forgot that, right? Queen captures f6. You forget that, oh, I left the rook on f8 undefended, right? So this is what usually happens. When you're visualizing and calculating, you forget certain details. Like certain pieces, when they move, they no longer defend certain pieces. And those details can mess up your game. So now that we know that this doesn't work, here what black played was he didn't capture, right? So queen d5. Now knight h6, white plays another shot. Again, if G captures H6 and Rook captures F6, White regains his piece while shattering the king side, and the end is near. Right, so White does not capture the knight, but plays King H8. Another defensive move. And then now here to continue the initiative, the winning combination is you gotta keep the initiative going, right? Rook captures F6, so you gotta look for another sacrifice. Rook captures F6, now G captures F6, and then Queen G4. The rook is ready to slide over. White is attacking with everything. Black is defending with nothing. The game is over. The immediate threat is knight f7 checkmate. And that is how you use the initiative to generate an attack, a checkmating attack. Right. Now, what happened in the game was that because it was a simultaneous exhibition, White did not play the best move here, which was rook captures f6. Instead, White played Queen d2. This gives Black a chance. If this weren't a simul, Duras surely would have found immediately the winning combination. So now knight e7. Now again, here in this position, if G captures h6, taking the knight just ruins Black's king side and rook because of the doubled pawns. Rook captures f6, h6 falls next, and Black is toast. Okay. So after Queen d2, knight e7. Now knight f7 check, king g8. And then now Duras finds the right idea, which is sacking the rook on f6. G captures f6, queen h6, f5. Okay, and then now again here in this position, king captures f7. Eating the free knight is the wrong move here. Queen captures h7, check, king f8, bishop g6, e5. Queen g8, queen captures f6, queen f7, and then queen captures f7 checkmate. So again, Black should not take the knight. So Black plays f5, knight g5, threatening 8, queen captures h7 checkmate, check, and then checkmate. Black resigned as mate is coming after White crashes in on h7. Black really made one fundamental mistake in this game, exchanging his bishop on c3 unprovoked. White's initiative then snowballed out of control. So again, this is what pretty much happened in the game. White got the initiative, and again, all Black's moves are defensive. White is in the driver's seat. Black is reacting to White's moves, and Black ends up losing the game. So again, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.